So it all comes down to this. We get a trailer to episode 9, the finale of Amazing Digital Circus. Now, a few years ago, I was introduced to this show by a friend of mine, and I watched all 8 episodes. And let me tell you, episode 8 was pretty intense. Yeah, I've recommended this show a bunch of times on this channel. Here we are at episode 9. Keep in mind, this is like, just to remind everyone, episode 8 came out 3 weeks ago. And here we are with the trailer to the finale. It even says right there, 3 weeks ago. It's like, I did not expect Glitch to give us a trailer to the finale this early. I was thinking, well, maybe in mid-May or late May they would put out a trailer, because if you've seen the ending to episode 8, they tell you exactly when the finale is going to be. They confirmed it was June 19th. Which, by the way, that's a week before my birthday. I was like, oh my god. So here we are with this trailer, and they give us a surprise towards the end of it. Amazing Digital Circus episode 9. An hour-long series finale. Well, I kind of knew it was going to be like about an hour long. I mean, that was no surprise. So they're saying that they're going to put this on YouTube in June 19th of this year. So when you keep going, they have something else to share with us. For a limited time only, you could experience episode 9 early. And now this is where it gets interesting. They're thinking about combining episodes 8 and 9 and making it into a theatrical experience. And it's showing at some theaters in the US, some theaters in Canada, some theaters in a few other countries. I mean, that's what they told us so far. They even say so far. And we get a screen date, June 4th. And like a few other days, I was told like June 4th to the 7th. I could be wrong. There's like a poster, a theatrical poster for it. And you could buy tickets to this theatrical experience. Now, here's where people have a problem with it. Some people. I'm not saying everyone. And you could tell there's like a interesting like to dislike ratio on this. When you look at the YouTube comments to this, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, who's here since episode 1? I don't want to say goodbye to the series. Who's gonna abstract? Which is a term used in the Amazing Digital Circus series. You know we are so cooked when the trailer is released 2 months before the actual episode. So the YouTube comments are quite tame. But when you go to places like Twitter, it's like a whole different story. Okay, it's now in Mexico. That's cool. More screening times coming. 2 weeks early. A lot of views on this tweet. Putting Amazing Digital Circus in theaters 2 weeks early is an atrocious idea, especially for fans. Words tags to mute on Twitter on June 3rd to avoid spoilers. And somebody took a screenshot of Glitch's Twitter post saying that episodes will continue to always come out on YouTube first. So it's kind of like saying, oh, they might have backtracked on their promise to have episodes always come out on YouTube first. 2 weeks, we'll be forced to stay in a dark room with one of the most intense fandoms just to avoid the spoilers and the 2-week delay. Good luck to the people who want to wait 2 weeks to watch it on the web after the theatrical early release. Another screenshot saying, continue to always drop episodes first on YouTube. So the major concern was like spoilers. Yeah, a lot of people were voicing that, and some people were like, oh, well, you could wait the 2 weeks if you can't watch it in theaters. It's like, get off the internet. So when I saw that post, I felt like I had to say something about it on Twitter. Now, at the time, I was like on the fence about this because it's like a theatrical experience sounds pretty good on paper, but then I was like concerned about spoilers also. I mean, not too concerned, but it's like the concern was still there. So at 2 o'clock yesterday, I made a 4-part tweet, and here's what I wrote. After seeing Glitch, the Amazing Digital Circus finale trailer a few times, it's kind of crazy that we're going to put out episode 9 in conjunction with episode 8 in theaters before June 19th, which is the release date for when it goes on YouTube. If some people are prone to spoiling movies and shows on social media, what's to stop them from seeing the finale in theaters and spoiling it? That doesn't seem fair to people who aren't able to or don't want to go see it in theaters, obviously because tickets are already selling out and it's not going to be available in every theater on Earth. I've seen people online point out concerns with spoilers and inavailability. To me, this whole thing is overambitious. I could have said ambitious, but let's move on. Glitch should have just stuck to the original plan of releasing the finale on YouTube and Netflix on what they've said, June 19th, or as some people suggested, have a theatrical and YouTube release on the same day. I don't know, the whole thing was crazy from the start, especially since a lot of people are still reeling from episode 8, which again released 3 weeks ago. Episode 8 wasn't even that long ago. So that was what I wrote at around 2 in the afternoon yesterday. But then hours later, at 9:48 last night, Central Time, Glitch puts out a statement. This is from the CEO, Kevin LarryBoy. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but here's Kevin with a statement. He says, "Hi everyone, Kevin, CEO of Glitch here. I wanted to jump in and talk directly about the theatrical release of the Digital Circus finale, and it being 2 weeks before its YouTube release. The reason we're pushing for this at all is because this one event has the potential to change how the entire industry views indie animation, which is understandable. If this works, we can get a YouTube animated series into thousands of theaters globally. It opens the door not just for us, but for many creators, many projects, and the future of original creator-led storytelling." Again, that's a good point. To be blunt, getting to this point has been a massive uphill battle. The traditional film industry has never really done something like this before at a global scale. Like a lot of the bets we've taken over the last 8 years of running Glitch, it takes a bit of a risk to truly push into new territory, but we really believe it's worth it. Okay, now this is where they talk about the 2-week gap. The 2-week gap came out of a lot of back and forth. Theaters were originally asking for a minimum of a month. I pushed hard to get it down to just 1 week or less, but they weren't willing to budge. 2 weeks was where we finally landed, and even that was apparently, quote-unquote, unheard of for them. I get that it's not ideal for everyone, and I genuinely hear the frustration, but if this works, it changes the game for us and for a lot of other independent creators down the line. I also hear those of you who are frustrated because there isn't a theater near you yet. We are working around the clock to fix that. We're currently in active talks with several theater chains with many countries around the world. We're pushing for more screenings and more locations every single day. Also, we really want to get into theaters in our home, Australia, which is where they're based at. Trust me, we do. We're just waiting for someone to respond to us. For those of you who have been respectfully reaching out to your local cinemas, thank you. It is actually working. Those emails are the best leverage we have to show theaters that there is a massive audience waiting for this. We're doing everything in our power to make this as accessible as possible while still trying to move the needle for indie animation as a whole. Thanks for sticking with us. So that was the statement that they put out last night, which I appreciate them doing that because there was I kept hearing about it all day yesterday, especially since the trailer came out. Yeah, and I was pretty concerned. But when I read this statement, I understood. I understood a lot of it, and I even read the comments after the fact. So after reading the comments to the YouTube video and to the post on Twitter and seeing everybody's concern, I had to play devil's advocate with this one. It's like, okay, well, they still haven't addressed, concerns about the spoilers, but I'm willing to hear them out. And here's what I wrote. Thanks for the clarification. While there was no mention of spoilers, I'm willing to look past that. If I can't see the finale in theaters, I'll be more than happy to wait the 2-week gap to see it on YouTube. Kudos, Glitch. And it hadn't been a few minutes until I got a lot of views on this tweet. I was not expecting that. And some of you commented, all we could do is be careful and stay away from social media after it hits theaters. Treat it like it's a bunch of has-been hotel leaks. So yeah, with this tweet, that comes from reading everything. That comes from reading the comments. That comes from hearing both sides of the argument. It's like, yes, I want to support indie animation. And I also want to hear the concerns about, oh, there's going to be spoilers. Oh, people are going to do this and that. But ultimately, it comes down to you, the viewer. It's like, do you want to be exposed to spoilers, or do you want to just stay away? So here's what I'm going to do. As a viewer, as somebody who's on social media, because I run a YouTube channel. So let me explain this tweet. I thank them for the clarification because, yeah, they didn't have to put out the statement, honestly. But they did, and I appreciate their transparency. And I've always voiced that. I love when a company is transparent to the fans and saying, hey, here's what we're doing and here's why we're doing it. We promise you we're going to do great and we're giving you this, we're giving you that. I've said that a lot about Billy Bust Up. And I point out that there was no mention of spoilers, but then I say I'm willing to look past that. And here's why I'm looking past that. Because I've seen Glitch put out hit after hit. It's like the Amazing Digital Circus is an incredible show. It's so, pun intended, amazing. I love the animation. I love the characters. I love the story. They're always putting out good content. So that's why I trust them into doing something like this. This deserves to be in theaters. Any animation deserves to be in theaters. It's groundbreaking. I mean, is it overambitious? Of course it is. But I can see why the ambition is there. I could see that, and it's clear as day on this statement. This one event has the potential to change how the entire industry views indie animation. The ambition is there, clear as day. And then I go on to say if I can't see it in theaters, I'll wait the 2-week gap. So as a fan, and you're seeing all these great things coming from a company, it's like you gotta give them the benefit of the doubt. I've given stuff like Billy Bust Up the benefit of the doubt because they put out good content. They kept the fans hyped for the game. They put out content. I think I've said that already. And they've put out merch, especially this guy right here. And they've delivered on so many things. And the same is true for Glitch. They've put out so many great things. So you might be asking, oh, LBF, what about spoilers? What are you going to do about spoilers? How are you going to avoid spoilers? Well, the thing is, rather than worry about spoilers, I could be doing something else. I could be doing other things. Like I said, I run a YouTube channel. I do all kinds of content. I do other social media stuff. So my world doesn't revolve around Twitter. It doesn't revolve around spoilers. It's like life goes on. It's like I already know how to avoid spoilers, so yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And I trust this company to put out good content. And if they made a mistake, I'm pretty sure they'll apologize. Alright, as for the trailer itself, it's pretty good. I mean, even though we're still kind of reeling from the previous episode, which, by the way, go check it out. If you haven't seen episodes 1 through 8 yet, I advise you to do it now. Get caught up before the finale, because you can tell that it's all fun and games and then it comes down to being serious. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna cry in the finale, because it's like all this time we've been following these characters and so invested in these characters and the story, and and a lot of my friends can testify to this because they watched Digital Circus. Even episode 8 was freaking insane. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the theatrical release that's gonna be in theaters 2 weeks prior to the YouTube release. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys. Are you excited about the finale? Are you excited about it coming to theaters? Do you like this idea? Let me know in the comments. When you're seeing this on social media, please be civil. Please be nice to each other in the comments. And just know that, hey, Glitch is trying. Like, they're doing their best to put out great content. And the fact that they're going to be in theaters, some theaters, if not all theaters, it's like kudos to them. You should be congratulating them for even getting that far, because the Amazing Digital Circus is a really, really great show. I recommend it all the time. But anyways, those are my thoughts on the situation. Yeah, I can't wait until the series finale, even though it's like I'm nervous about it. I feel like I'm gonna cry afterwards. It's like, that's how invested I am in the series, because it's so good. It's so good. Anyways, those are my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think of this video. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt, all that shebang bang. If you want to support me, LarryBoy Fanatic, there's my Patreon. Wow, it's going to be an intense finale. And like I said, it's going to be like an hour-long series finale. I kind of knew it was going to be like an hour long. It's like, I had a feeling. Right, so June 19th on YouTube and Netflix. But if you want to see it early, as early as June 4th, you can get tickets. Anywho, this has been your girl, LarryBoy Fanatic, the eyes and plunger ears of the LarryBoy multiverse and more, especially Amazing Digital Circus and Billy Bust Up. Support companies that put out great content and are super duper great to their fans. Support those companies and be nice. See you guys.